Hey everyone, my name is Kezia, and I'm so glad to be doing this week's renewed devotional. Our upcoming meeting topic is the question, is Jesus the only way? Today's devotional begins to explore that, so let's dive right in. The text we are looking at today is John 14, verse 6. It's a verse that many of us knew by heart as kids, but let's break it down. So, John 14, verse 6 says, Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. This verse is taken from Jesus' farewell address to his disciples. At this point, he knows that the time of his crucifixion is fast approaching, and he knows that the ordeal ahead would be extremely devastating and difficult for both him and his disciples. If you read the whole chapter, you can feel Christ's love and compassion emanating from each word. Jesus was about to experience the pain of crucifixion and torture, the weight of humanity's sin, the betrayal of his friends, and the loneliness of being separated from God the Father. Even with all this, one of his main priorities in this time before he entered into this ordeal was to give his disciples assurance to hold on to during the storm that he knew they were about to enter. These words of encouragement still serve to uplift us and teach us today. So this verse specifically is a response to a question asked by the disciple Thomas. Jesus had told the disciples that he was about to be taken from them, but that they would still be able to go to where he was. Thomas asked, Lord, if we don't know where you are going, how can we know the way? While oftentimes throughout his ministry, Jesus taught his disciples and answered their questions in parables, this time he tells his disciples plainly that he himself is the way to salvation, and that he and the Father are one. There is no ambiguity here, just plain truth. So if we look at this verse and we begin to break it down piece by piece, we gain a lot of understanding about what Jesus is saying and what he's offering to his disciples in this time. So first we have the words, I am. These two words are a hint pointing at the deity of Christ. It is reminiscent of the encounter at the burning bush when God first revealed himself to Moses in the Old Testament. In the book of Exodus, God says, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. In the Gospel of John specifically, these words thread throughout the account of Jesus' life. And even here, before his sacrifice, he declares that he is I am, and once again aligns himself with God the Father. Jesus is the God of both the Old and the New Testament. That fact is unchanging. He is God. Next, we have the words the way. When Jesus says that he is the way, he is saying that he is the only access point to God. He is the bridge between God and man. He is exclusively the only way for man to reconcile with God. This exclusivity is further established by the later portion of this verse, which says, no one comes to the Father except through me. This verse and this portion of this verse clearly destroys any claim that there are other ways to heaven or that there is another way to God. The word is final. Jesus is the only way. Next, we have the truth. When Jesus is saying that he is the truth, he is saying that he is the unveiled mystery of what the Old Testament and the Mosaic Law and the prophets and God's narrative so far throughout the entire Bible has been pointing to the entire time, that Jesus is the Messiah, that he is truly the one and only God despite the lies of idolatry that Satan had perpetuated and continues to spread throughout the earth. He is God. It is the truth. He was the truth that the disciples needed to be engulfed in that time of confusion that they were about to face. And he is still the truth in both our times of confusion and clarity today. Then we have the words, the life. Jesus is the key to eternal life and fellowship with God. Jesus is the key to heaven, and Jesus is the key to true abundant life that comes from unhindered fellowship with God that comes through atonement from Jesus. Jesus actually began this promise a couple chapters before in the healing of Lazarus account, but the promise is full-fledged here. He is eternal life. He is the only thing worth living for, and anything apart from life with Jesus, through Jesus, and for Jesus is simply not worth living. It is simply existing and surviving. Life, true life, comes through Jesus Christ, and he gives life to all who believe in him. So, as we continue the rest of our week, may we allow Jesus' words and promise to ring out in our hearts and minds and keep us grounded, that he is the way, the truth, and the life, and that no one can come to the Father except through him.